Hey, how are y'all? So I'm on my little walk. So I don't know. The spirit just told me to speak right now. I'm just going to let some things off my chest because it's important for me to give clarity in the midst of conversation. And some people I just can't have a conversation with, like on a mental stimulation note, because they don't know how to see something other than what I'm saying. It's just fluid. uh, a lot of males they have this one track minded, so it's hard to get a male that's not actually, they don't have the spirit and they don't have the intellect. It's very hard to get them to see in a lot of ways their error in their speech and what they do wrong toward me. I ain't no saint and I ain't perfect and I ain't saying I got this thing all together, but what I am saying is I've lived enough. You know what I'm saying? I have learned some things in my 30 years. And I've been through some things in my 30 years that maybe people older than me have not had to go through. Because our generation is going through a lot of different stuff. So it's just about people staying open with the spirit and let me reason when I'm talking. So first I want to make the notice that I thank y'all for viewing all the things and listening to the training tips. And I let bygones be bygones. When something is over with, I move on with the next day and try to do better and try to put my foot forward to like a better note, you know. So, like I said, I could see his point. If she did have a marker and was an investigation done, and she did have, something that she could have marked to show, then yes, that would be questionable if she was just trying to deny him, based on whatever reasons, because this thing can go out many ways. But I don't want nobody dealing with somebody manipulative. And I know a person that's trying to manipulate and trying to make somebody on their side or see it their way when they know darn well in their heart they got snares and they got like hate. So I know what I seen, but I'ma still present it wisely and say, hey, I'ma still listen to his side, her side, and anybody else's side and weigh it. I'm not gonna still deal with, in the midst of my anger, I'm still gonna deal fair with people. I don't believe in just being unfair just because I'm angry at somebody. Yes, I don't like that coach, and that coach has had a bad history and done things to me, but I would not group them all together. I refuse to do that. It's hard for me to even do that with black men. See, this is what they don't understand. The way that I'm dealing with any other culture in ways that they have done toward me, it's the same way I'm dealing with him as that. Because how I feel about it is, I didn't have to choose to stay in my covenant. I mean, you can look around and anybody can agree. There's many colored or so-called women that have dated out or dated older men or out together, maybe lesbians or whatever they is of their preference in this life right now. So when I talk to my husband, I'm not talking entitled. I'm telling him like, look around. I say I waited for you. I saved myself for you. The devil told me many times. I had much options, and you know what? My other two options that was left for my generation that's deteriorating away. You know what I'm saying? They lost their damn principle and values. They mix it every goddamn where like it ain't. It's been doing so much things of abomination practices. You know why? Because there was no leadership ahead, like she said. They went into slavery and they went into this thought of man, 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 you know what I'm saying? So it was no children getting delivered. We were being raised and not really just being raised. We were just being raised to be taught what church told us. You know what I'm saying? So that has happened to American culture. But what I'm saying is, when I was presented with the options to date an older man, have more stability, or go out my race, date, go back to my covenant, because now I'm discovering my covenant was really Asia, not no Africa, Europe, nobody else. It was really like Indian Asia. That's the man I should have been marrying, like in my covenant. I didn't have to marry something that looks like me, but it doesn't act like me or my intelligence. So that tells me a lot in itself that, okay, this is deeper than what we thought. You really can't judge by appearance. He's actually, to be honest, he's the first kind of dark man I ever really just dated. Now, I've dated and tried to get along with two, but it never worked out. They were always that type of way. They have love and they have understanding, but they've always had that aggressiveness or something on with them. I don't know what it is. I've always noticed that It's that other part that, now I'm kind of witnessing a little bit more, but I've always had lighter or tan skinned men. It was like yellow to light. I ain't never really had to. This is my first time. And see, that's why I thought that, okay, it's much better, yeah, when it comes down to the experience, but it's not what it should be, and we're working on that. But what I'm saying is, if I could sit here and turn down, a relationship that really wasn't a bad relationship. The only reason why I left because it was the age difference. And I felt like, yes, I want to marry a younger man, or I wanted to give a younger man a try that never been married. I didn't want to deal with a man that's been married before and all these other different things. When it came to the culture of me and the Arab, the only difference was, that culture view we didn't see alike. But when I did date it for a year before I found out what I found out, at least I can say he didn't ask me for nothing, didn't take nothing from me, or anything like that. And so when I speak like real truth about my relationships and experiences, my husband take it the wrong way. But when he talks about certain things women didn't do with him and this and that, I amend him because it's helping me grow. I don't take it offensive when he talk about his ex, or he have said things to me about, hey, some women I actually, and it's two that I actually knew already. I actually knew too, like not in no friend stuff, but one of them was real close, but we got close through, the circumstances, but we didn't just grow up. And one of them was a black female, and the other one was a white female. So what I'm saying is, ain't no woman been good enough for you, so you're not gonna sit here and try to tell me as no wife that. Because if the other ones wasn't good enough for you, and they're walking in other images, what makes you think that you're so right about this thing that you have done? You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, at some point you have to take accountability. It just goes in life. Everybody do. But if I could sit here and say, you know what, although I feel like I may had an easier walk because they already knew certain things, they may have already brought like something to the table, may have their own home, their own vehicle, something like that I could have been looking at, even though I already had my stuff established. So I really didn't have to date for money. I didn't have to date for money because I already had what I needed in life. I didn't have to do that. And contrary to everything I had bought, my parents weren't doing that. And if I did have an inheritance stolen, or they didn't let me know, they sure made me pay for everything. So they still can't say nobody just gave me anything. So it ain't like I never had an inheritance to begin with. Because if I did, what I'm saying, I don't know if he bought the home with my inheritance money or whatever, then he just made me pay him back. You know what I'm saying? That could be something crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he right or wrong, but I just look at my history of my parents. They still didn't teach us like they just gonna give us things, even if they had it like that. They wasn't just gonna raise us with a privileged mindset, or they just gonna give us everything we want. So they kind of still made us like work for it, get us used to a system of like giving. You know what I'm saying? Give from your heart. And my mama always taught me, if you give something, make sure you got it. You got yourself. If the person pay you back or not, that you good. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the whole point of giving. So. And my daddy did have a little bit more expressive heart about it than she did, because she can't be stuff at time and mean, or she just can be like, I'm straightforward about it. She got it, she got it, she don't, she don't. You know what I'm saying? But I just think it was like that because when a man make a little bit more money, and we already know in history, men have always been able to make a little bit more money than women. So, of course, that can be a little bit more given in certain areas than maybe the mother, or got it like that more than the mother for the children. So, we just got to look at that. But overall, what I'm going to look at is that the fact that they did was their financially part. They did do their part in that area, and they did their part in the mental. Now, what we struggle at, or what I've struggled at with my parents, was the spiritual and emotional parts with them in certain levels. That's what it was about. But I sat back and I told him the truth. I said, look, man, I'm going to just be honest. I said, was it all worth me coming back to my original covenant? Was it all worth it in the end? Like, should I just did what majority of them doing and said, forget that image of God, forget the image of fool. God wants us to create more and be appreciative of this earth. So let's just, love whatever man we want to love. I could have kept that mindset, and I'm going to be honest, if I kept that mindset, I would not be with him. He would not have these two daughters. I mean, my life would not be like it was. So it's either I'm right for what I'm standing in now, or I'm really wrong for seeing, still a little bit of color. I still wanted to see a little bit of color. I still wanted to say, hey, no, it's not okay. My sister needs to be with her men. Like, I don't want to just take all they men and I want they men on me. I wanted to fight for something, because I thought when you love people, you fight for them. Why would I let something go, or why would I be like, okay, so I believed in staying in my culture, and particularly my state, my culture. I mean, I particularly that, no matter what color they is, but they all been Louisiana bred or from. It was only one that was foreign that I dated. So I was I was set on that because of what I was raised like. So in a way, when I ask him, I say, so you saying that I could be racist right now because I'm telling you that you can't just talk in the sense of you for in you for interracial, or you're saying that you're doing it. You can't just sit here and say that's okay to your woman, but then you have to look at your situation as well. So I don't do that contradiction stuff. I'm gonna say it how it is. What you scared of? Stand in what you chose. Like, that's what everybody should do, no matter who it is. But it's like a lot of people feeling insecure about their choices and their decisions. So then that made me guess, like, okay, so did you really didn't want to come back to a standard. You really wanted to play the dog forever. You really wanted to sit here and just not be able to, like, have no accountability, because you know your own woman gonna make you have some accountability. I'm sure every man kind know that about their own. It ain't gonna just be certain things you just gonna be able to get away with because they know you. They're part of your covenant. But it's like you can't speak and say that that's okay, and then one end you telling me that I can't go be with another man outside of my own, but yet you're justifying when it comes to men. I don't think that's right. And if you truly believe I should love whoever take care of my soul, then why do you get mad and angry when I say, hey, I need to go back to my covenant. I need to go back to an Indian, Asian. Like, I need to date in my covenant, man. This ain't gonna work. We have two different understandings. And I'm knowing what it is now. First, I was like, brushing it off, saying this could be, maybe love can conquer all sins. Maybe I'll be okay. But when I get to talking like that, he like, oh no, now you getting upset, you exerting yourself, now you feeling your fire. Like, how dare you say that? But how dare you tell me that it's okay for what they're doing? That's not okay what men is doing. Although men are still more nature-wise to prey on different women and don't have a type and don't discriminate, that do not make it right that you reject your own, or it does not make it right that you don't choose your own, or you don't stand up in defense when it's time for your own. If you truly believe that, then when you see a person doing interracial or saying things that they're in a relationship and it's about hate while they together to begin with, then that would be something that you need to stand up for, not standing up for people or against people that's in their original covenant. Like I told them, like I said, well, I'm glad to see a lot of them back together or together here. I say it makes me feel a lot better and give me more hope for me and you. When I see, original people staying within their means and respecting their woman and stuff like that. So I was actually saying something positive. But it's like when I say something positive, all he's saying is like, oh, you're just saying that because you don't like. No, I'm saying that for a reason, because again, he don't believe people do interracial or getting together because they hate somebody. He don't believe in that. There's people that's literally together because of all type of circumstances. It really is not for love or money. Like, there's people that's together just to show a fake image that they in love. You got people together just to show that they hate someone, so they decided to come together to make things. You got all types of reasons why people lay in a bed. You don't have to love somebody to sleep with them, right, and have a child. He knows that. So it's like, why are you denying that that's a way that they're doing things to make and cause problems, like the word said? And why would you think that they're not doing that for that reason? So that means, would you defend a hateful interracial couples in the land, or you rather defend what's the truth that was in the beginning, or what you see that God has ordained for people to be? Which one would you rather believe? I'm gonna be honest. I take my chances with the original way, and that's why I end up walking away from people that was not so bad. I'm not saying they were. I'm not saying everything was their fault. Some things were just circumstances why relations end. But mainly it was because of this part that they misunderstand about me a lot. Is that part. My mental stimulation and my emotional intelligence, they expect for me to think like them, talk like them, behave like them. You know, I'm too, and I'm very humble about it. That's the point. But when I've been too humble, man, they done treated me like I was so freaking weak when I be humble and kind, to the point where I just stopped being that way. Like, I just tell a person straight up now, like, look, I'm not with it. Not today. And so I've hold my peace many a times, but it's like when a person is bent on seeing nothing but bad in you, it's nothing really you can do to change their mind, especially if they have not seen anything good. Or when you say something good or positive, they feed on that. Like I said, they don't want to feed on that positive thought and keep it going. It's like they got to revert back to, hey, there's some negative stuff going on. So what if these Karens or these racist harlots or people that, want to do something, say something, so what? So wait, look, there's gonna still be people that love each other to the end. There's gonna still be people that are not doing that. So I don't think y'all need to be getting on the internet doing Twitter beats back and forth with these people. For what? It is what it is. It's not gonna change the love that I have for my own that love me and accept me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna take it out on all of them just because a few of them that, showing that kind of little prejudice in them. But I'm not gonna take it out on everybody. I have to individually judge people. So I do like the ladies earlier. Y'all did good. You kept me really laughing. But I think that y'all, there's a few good spirits. Like I said, I'm gonna keep myself open, and I ain't gonna be going in and everywhere. I made my mark, and this is where I'm gonna be at. Um, but I do think that he has to stop doing that, but it just shows that he can't be in my covenant, or we can't get it right because of what was not supposed to be from the beginning has happened. And although we know it, through the years we have tried to make it right, I just feel like a part of me is lost because I don't have a person that truly really is trying to understand me on a level that I need to be understood, and not just being, what I'm saying, misused, abused, and just talked to in any kind of way, really cautious. So it matters. Like I said, if you want your woman to talk to you in love and care, you have to do that same thing. If you want your woman to stay calm and emotional, tell us through all types of stuff, you have to lead that example. You can't just do all of that. So there's a lot of that happening. And so I know I can't blame him for every black man do it, and I ain't never tried to, you know what I'm saying? But I do have a lot of wrath toward that image, and I don't want to have nothing to do with it at this point. But I do try to, just because I can't put the kids back inside of my womb and pick another person, or just be like, oh man, I understand that I attracted things in my early time because I was on my grind then. And I wasn't looking at the financial part. I wasn't looking at, I was looking a little ahead, but I wasn't looking this much ahead. And it's okay because I forgive myself, and you have to forgive yourself when you allow people to connect to your darkest parts and they didn't cherish your light parts. So you have to learn to get over that in life. And it's not an easy task, you know what I'm saying? As many times I wanted to seek revenge on people. I done been through some hateful stuff, and I'm sure my mama got some stories. A lot of other people got some stories. A lot of females, like, I've been through a lot and I've endured a lot. For anybody to come tell me that I'm racist and I done split my covenant with almost every man on the fucking planet or my sisters, like, no, you can't, you don't get to say that. You don't get to say that without accountability of, like, okay, you're lying on me now. I showed you love. I showed you care. I was there. And a lot of times they just think that it's a game until it's too late. And it's too late. And so when they can't come back, and now they have to stay on their side, they choose another woman, they have to stay on their side. Just like if I choose another man, I don't go back. I don't turn back. That's why it says the word, no, Storm, you don't turn back. We're over with. When it's done, it's done. That means I cut my covenant, I left it alone, and I was never supposed to pick up that faith again, but stay inside of my narrow pathway. And I chose to, like, feel like there was hope. I wanted to believe that there could be, and I don't know at this point. Could be, could not. But I just hate the fact he'll persecute me for doing it, but he so willingly does it with other women and split. But you don't like it when when I'm with another image that's besides yours, you act like it's a problem. And that's just the reality. And they need to stop trying to hide it, but because they can't hide it no more. They feel some type of way. But yet they expect for us to sit around and wait until they get through done playing with their little toys, dolls around the land and spreading their goddamn seed everywhere in them. And then they want to come back and then they want us to claim them kids too part of our culture. Or they want us to like be okay with like coming back to us. Like if you done lay with something, some women I'm just not going behind because I already know the details of it. I'm not going behind it. So it just makes me feel a certain way. But I just feel like at that time I was in a different level of space. I was only looking for somebody emotionally because of what I had neglected of myself for so long, because I had to go into a role of taking care of my son day in and day out, providing for him, all of these things, and leaving his father alone. Because again, I don't go backwards. If you would give me something and I lived through that, you would try to do that again. I'm not no foolish. So they just really want me to be too low and foolish in my thinking. And that's when I knew, like, okay, that's blasphemy. They want me to literally be stupid, literally dumb for them. And I just can't do that for no man. I would rather be alone. I'm sorry. And then sometimes I ain't even gotta, do interracial multicultural or be a lesbian. I could just want to be alone and they'll feel like, oh, it's somebody else. But believe me, if I was to ever remarry or I have to be with somebody, I cannot be not out my covenant again. So I think I have very learned this troubling lesson that I've never been able to like make my own children yet. I've been only making mankind seeds, like literally, like it's the truth. I have not formed my really, really own. I mean, I love Shia and Shakaya, and they are, but they're still his seeds. I'm just being honest. I haven't really I can imagine what I do if I do get a really full of my covenant and we mate. If I can make beautiful kids outside and get some type of reason, I'm sure I can do it inside. I just would not go outside of my covenant. A lot of people would think this was it because of the image we walk in, but honestly, we come from a little two different roots, I can tell you that. So I'm not like upset with nobody. I don't want nobody to think I'm upset, but I just really weigh in the kind of insight that she had gave me. Um, and I'm just being cautious, but I do can say this. I will only be doing that walk next week, 2 days. I'm not going to be doing it no 4 or no 5. And I do like where she's at. Don't get me wrong. That's not the problem because I don't need nobody in my business like that. Um, and I just feel like that place is just so much solely working with like kind of him. And so I'm not sure if they were just trying to do that other part because of his schedule or whatever. But I'm not going to be tricked into that. So I think I'm going to just let God stay where she is so I can have that kind of mark where I can drop her off when I need to, not be made to take her 5 days a week and then also don't have my parental rights kind of fully protected in the way of a system. So, yeah, I'm not going to do that. And also when I ask, about things to get along with, like, hey, how do you feel about this? It's like always a shutdown in a business conversation. I kind of don't like that because I am kind of business-minded. I think he needs to understand that other part of me. So, when I'm asking you to take leave, sometimes it's hard for some males to take leave, especially when they're not sure of themselves. And so I think it's just all about, I can't build a confidence in somebody because nobody can build mine. And I'm still working on nurturing myself and getting me more like confident about things and sure about things. But I'm just taking it one step at a time. I appreciate all the hands involved that really is genuine and trying to get what I need. But it was all about, and he also can't say that I left him in Louisiana. First of all, I couldn't lead you nowhere when I didn't even have money to pay my own ticket. It was just by the grace of God that God sent people in my path to help me get back up here. Um, and get what I need to, because God knew I didn't have no money, and He was, paying everything, and He was kind of really dealing with me treacherously and kind of emotionally abusing, like, just saying stuff. And I was like, God, let me just nurture my baby to 6 months, at least get her to health, and I promise you I'll get a job, and I'm not ever dealing with this again. Like, so I kind of felt really bad how, I would never forget none of my pregnancies, but all my pregnancies was terrible. They treated me terrible and abandoned me, both of them. So they can't both argue anything that one was better than the other. Now, surely I can say one may did something that the other one didn't do, and some good traits that the other one, but overall they both did not reach the standard, or I would say in the way that they should have as young men in my generation. Yes, they did take heartless spirits, and yes, they did mess with other people. Yes, they have, and they done things. So let's not act like it was just me going around doing stuff. Y'all take accountability for your own sexual organs too that y'all was, partaking with women. But when we get to talking about that side of it, it's like it's all go blank, and all they can see is what the fuck I do. Excuse my language, or whatever they feel. And I be honest about it. There's not nobody that I would have never wanted to be with. If I lay with you, I would have I had to have some type of feelings of connection to you. I wanted to be, but I'm not gonna be stupid just to be with somebody. Like, that's the whole point. Because in this life, I can't be no saint. God didn't send me to earth like, oh, you get to still live like you this and that. No, I had to literally live a human experience. So with that, I gotta entertain. I gotta be with people. I gotta have sex. I gotta feel. I gotta see. I gotta hear. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta go through this human experience of suffering. Like, that didn't make it easy for me just because of who I was and what they blessed me with to know. So I don't know why people think it just was like an easy walk. It really wasn't. And it's still not an easy walk to do. There is heavy days that I have where my heart is really heavy, and I feel like it's just everybody's feelings, or a lot of people dying, or I'm feeling a lot of energy. And sometimes it is that in my realms, or it's like a heavy thing. And so that's another thing that I wanted to get out. So that was important for me. To say that first of all, I didn't even have an SE. No, there's proof I didn't. I had to ask somebody give me some money to give me a ticket to Mississippi, which was only $34 out of Louisiana. Then I had to hustle when I got there. My sister helped me, and then when I got to Pennsylvania, they state helped me, and then I got here. So like literally everybody have been some witnesses, and y'all my witness that I didn't have no money. So how can he act like I left him when no, it should have been seen like you betting me and you betrayed me, because you knew goddamn well I was not supposed to ever go back to Louisiana. You knew darn well I made up my mind. So it's like, why did you keep pulling me back to hell? Why are you trying to keep pulling me back around the same people? And it's like, to me, I feel like it was all a setup. I'm going to be honest. I could be wrong or right, but I always felt like he was paid. I always tell him to this day, I say, was you paid by my parents or somebody to come be a stunt? Like, I always mess with him, but I be dead serious. Like, because you came out of nowhere, and we was friends, and I don't know how all of a sudden I wake up, I got two babies with you. I done been with you for 6 years. I'm trying to see what the hell went wrong. I was at this level, now I'm at this level, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell happened. So I'm being like, sarcastic, but I'm being serious. Like that was just a life changing. It was like something happened, and I can't even explain what it is, but it's definitely some heavy, heavy spiritual warfare. And it had bad luck to talk to. Tied to it. But God is blessing me and again reversing me. I feel like every time we are where I do feel my spirit coming back, my light be back, I be glowing, things be coming to me, So I don't know. I don't know, and I don't want to sound like it's like his fault or anything, or my fault. I'm just saying what the spirit is doing and revealing. So yeah, so I was like, don't look at it like that. How can you look at it like that when I never had the money either? So I didn't even, how can I give you something I don't have? So how could I give you a bus ticket and I didn't even have money for a bus ticket? The only thing is I used my mind in the battlefield. I don't sit there and dwell on the power hours and hours and waiting on somebody to come and having blind faith about it. No, I'm going to sit up and be like, you know what? I'm finna plan. I'm finna get to this point. I'm finna get to this point. And then when I get to this point, if I can help myself, like I'm going to think why in the midst of the battle. I'm not just going to give up throw the hell with it or expect for my wife to figure it all out in the battlefield when I done made the goddamn things go wrong and done made it where the fire came in the first place behind me, and then expect my wife to like clear it up for me because I know she's just spiritual powerful and she can do it. So I'm gonna just let her deal with it. That's not fair. That's not right. But that's what it's been. Anyway, so with that being said, I was just looking at like, damn, how can you say I left you? No, I could say you left me because you know I didn't have no money. So how was I going to get me a bus ticket back up north? Like, how was I going to get to where I need to? Because you used the advantage of me not having nothing because I've been at home and delivering the baby and I've been tending to her. So it's like, and they didn't want me working while I was pregnant. They discriminated me twice while I was pregnant when I was trying to save for my baby to not depend on him when I get out of work. So it was like everything that I tried to do to help myself, man, I always try to tear me down because they want me to play their darn harlot, so weak ass woman, and I can't play that version. I'm not trying to play that version, period, in the discussion. So it's like that part. And it's like there's many women that would love to sit at home, be a stay-home mom forever and not do nothing and just have sex with you all day and just pop out 10. And I mean, I'm pretty sure you can find someone dumb like that, but not me. I have a life and I care about my body to not be having all these children and don't want to just be having children just because I'm a woman. I can. I do want to think about being prepared for them. I always did. But I also know I got to listen to spirit, and I know I wanted to accept my purpose as a woman too, and not deny, a man from getting his, children. But it's just one of those things that, so I don't see how nobody can look at it like that. That's actually weighing the facts that, okay, the fact is she didn't have no money for herself, so how? So it's like you left me, and then I had to figure it out. But the thing is, they don't never think that I will. And when I do figure it out by myself and get myself out of something, then they want to sit here and be like, oh, how she escaped this, how she get out of this, is that she had to go do this, she had to go do that. No, I don't know why people always think people got to do wrong, steal, kill, prostitute to get what they need. No, there's services out. You can go the right way, and if guys see that you're doing the right thing and you're not trying to do nothing wrong, they're gonna open them doors for you. I've seen it happen for me. As long as I choose to do the right thing and not do the wrong thing, you know. So there's some times where I did do a little small wrong, but I ain't just like she said. At least I try. At least we try, right? Um, no one's innocent, but at least we try. Anyway, so that's the part I'm looking at. Like, he don't want to weigh the facts. The facts is like, damn, you knew I didn't have no money the whole time. It was your cousin or whoever this invisible hand paying for tickets to Texas to lose in all of this, all that money he paid, and he didn't even. Why did we have to go back down to that in the first place? Because I was never trying to go back to the South, and I'm done with it. Although I can, appreciate my culture upbringing, that's not what I chose to live my life, and God to choose for me to live my life in. So I love my children. Like I said, all I can do is try to fight this system with the money because it's all about money in the end. So I still would have needed money, and they know I didn't have it. So of course, people attack you. What? It's all about taking poor people, or they feel like people that's not ready. They shouldn't be having kids, but they don't even understand God ordained this. I did not want this. God told me I was gonna have it. It's not something that I just who would want to just put that on themselves again. So that's just stupid. To even think I would even think like that. So no, it's just really what it is. What I told him it was a deception, and then also a purpose happening at the same time. I could have chose to still be upset about it and got rid of all of these niggas that done played with my heart or did stuff to me dirty or defile me. I could have been done popped the gun up in them. But you know what? Every time I, think about doing it, I'm just like, you know what? They not even worth it. I'm going to let y'all die in y'all misery. I say, you know what? I'm going to let them suffer. I'd rather them suffer in misery. I'd rather you see me doing better. I'd rather you see that you'll never ever give me a life, get a chance with me. I'd rather for you, and matter of fact, I'm going to be honest, I'd rather for you to find somebody who can fulfill that. So you won't have to even worry about me no more. I would want to wipe y'all badness with me away. I would rather that. You know what I'm saying? I would rather for it to be wiped away on my end too, of memories. And it be done with. But life don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? Life don't work like that. There's a guilty conscience and there's a conscience that comes with things that you do in life. So, and it's called the soul. So when you persecute the soul and you do things to the soul, don't get mad or try to get revenge when your judgment comes for your soul. That's all I can say. Or when you start feeling it in your eyes, like, okay, yeah, I really did this. But some people don't believe I got the heart of forgiveness. I can really forgive all the shit I've been through, but again, that don't make me want to be around you. That ain't gonna make it change how I feel about. I'm never gonna be a fool again. I'm never gonna repeat the same mistake. So that's why it says, get me when I'm blind. You better love me when I'm blind. You better take care of me when I'm blind. You better really appreciate when I'm blind. Because all of that, what I do in the blind, yeah, you better love it. Because if I'm in my knowing state, which I still know then, it's just the fact that God tell me to love, you know. And so I choose not to turn my heart off for a piece of knowledge. I'll say that. Because it'll require you to have a cold heart. It will sometimes make you bitter from the things that you become to know and be wise in. So it ain't easy. It ain't easy at all. But we can definitely do it together. So I really wanted this to be a good counseling session to let y'all know, like, you know, in a conversation, always weigh the factual evidence. Don't assume that your partner is like trying to make you look some type of way, belittle your intelligence. Like, weigh the facts and don't just assume your partner like want to leave you or want to like, you know, do things to you. Sometimes it's just a bit of knowledge of knowing, like, okay, you know, business wise, I was the one really left. Then I get down there, I start getting attacked by my family immediately after 3 years. Y'all heard it. Y'all know what I went through. Stepped in the door, ain't even said a word, and it all started. They tried to point their finger at me. It's like everybody all my life has pointed the finger at me since I've been a child. I've been taking on everybody goddamn burdens, and I'm tired. I finally released myself from the demons, from the people that try to keep in touch with me, from people that do not know how to take accountability, and if it had to start with my own parents, I was gonna get me some goddamn peace and some respect. I didn't care. So everybody always wanted me in their life because, like I said, they feel like when my love is blind, they can get whatever they want out of me. And when they realize, no, I still have intelligence, you can't just expect for me to be okay with this too long, or you can't expect for me to just bow down and just not let you have no type of accountability of what you're doing and what you're getting from me. But sometimes they have to learn the hard way, and it's not quite the good way, but I don't understand it. So it's just one of those things where I just feel like sisters don't entertain the bullcrap on the internet, you know. Let women be women, I guess, you know, if that's what their preference is. And I suggest, you know, people to just still get new connections and spend your time thinking better for yourself. Um, Seeing what you can do to find people who do want to accept you for who you is. And we need to stop worried about the ones that don't. And so I also think we should watch our mouth. Like I said, it's okay. Both sides really need to watch their mouth, and both sides needs to just really, you know, like I said, it's just coming to the point where it's just the end of things. I can definitely see that. And they've been doing this centuries for a long time, doing this type of mixing and justifying it. And all of the things they have done, but I never would have thought I would have attracted one like this, you know, in my life. And I just look back and I know what it was. I was 24 years old. I'm finna be 31 now. So that life has got me some things to understand more about how it was. So yes, some ladies, when we are getting our own bag or we are getting things for ourselves, sometimes it is hard to still hold a man accountable to his full, you know, headship or whatever he feels responsible for, because we do feel like we need to be helpmates, but sometimes we can be hindering their growth or trying to take them out or anything. So, with that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this segment, but really this is kind of just a breather and kind of giving some points to how people should view things. Again, if it was any intelligence, it would have been viewed that I didn't have no money either. And I used my thoughts and resources and people that I could use at the same time to protect my daughter and get her out of that state, because I did not want to be in no persecuted state. I already had went back twice in what they did to me in false accusations. So it just makes me feel like they've been using him to try to keep me down in that state or keep me down in some type of
religious lie or try to continue to like make me feel like depending on family. Hell, they all can die and I still would have had to figure out my way. So let's be real. It's just at the end of the day, you got to figure it out regardless. So I was never a codependent child. My parents know that, and anybody been around, I've never been codependent. Never needed a whole group or people that I knew around me that I grew up with. I honestly felt always better around new faces, people that don't even know me and I don't know them. A family. I really never felt comfortable all the time around family or people that I felt like I grew up with because they did was point the finger and persecute and say things out their mouth. And, I'll never forget when I was a little child how innocent my heart was, and it just got like it's just so much I've been through that I don't even want to say, and I don't even need no sympathy to talk about. I don't want to because it is not for me to. But just know that I never forget certain things, especially when I was having a hard time, especially when I was very pure and trying to figure out life and trying to like really love people. I would never forget how they took advantage of me when I was in my blind state. Never. I never forget that part. Yeah, I definitely love the scenery. This is a beautiful mountains. Like I just sit here and look at them sometimes, and I'm like, this is a beautiful scenery. I've seen nothing like it. Out of all my 7 states I done visit now, and this will be my third, and this is my permanent. I'm not leaving Wyoming, period. Even if I leave the city, I'm not leaving. This place is wonderful for me to grow, and it's too spaced out for me not to make it. I like space, and I think that's why I sleep better because my spirit can breathe better around the state. My angels can assist me, the ancestors assist me, the ancient assist me because it's so much. It's not even a lot of bloodshed, so this really like pure on their land. Like, you don't really like, I could feel it that it's not as much. Like I said, on many lands I've walked into, I get it immediately, especially certain ones, and I would get evil spirits coming at me, showing me things. Like it'll be a lot. So it's like it's a different breed. So like I said, I got enough to breathe now. I can really just sleep good and just rest good, and it just be good. You know what I'm saying? Like far as like resting good. But I do love the scenery. I never seen nothing like it. And like I said, I want to get on the mountains to see more. Maybe one day I can actually do. But I definitely, it's gonna take a minute for me to get to that point. But I definitely know it's a beautiful scenery. It's nice. It's a really nice. I'm loving it. But I do think that y'all are trying, and I see it in you that y'all are trying. So I'm gonna work with y'all because I know that I see some souls trying, and I know that they're wanting to. So I'm not gonna allow him or nobody to mess up this moment. And like I said, I had to get myself out of there again. He did not help me. He did not send me no money, and he did. If you can find a job within 3 weeks,